You startled me, Jeffrey.
I didn't know anyone was in here.
And I didn't know you could play the piano.
I only play when I'm alone.
Oh, but you really shouldn't be so shy. No one would compare you to a professional.
But I am a professional.
Oh.
I made my debut in Town Hall a week before I left for the war. Jeffrey Meredith, you see.
Why, it says you're brilliant. Oh, please do forgive me, Jeff. I should have known.
I was superior at the Philharmonic. I didn't, but I have the contract to prove that I might have.
But you never play. Oh, please do go on. I'd love to hear you.
No, I don't like to be stared at.
I'll just look the other way and listen.
Mrs. Savage, I'm not ready to face people. Please don't insist.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Can you keep a secret?
About 10 minutes.
Dr. Emmett isn't a real doctor at all.
No? Then what is she?
She's a patient, just like Mrs. Patty.
No, she's a doctor. It says so on her office door. She wouldn't lie.
Would you believe a woman is what she claims to be?
I'm a trusting soul. I like to believe the best in people.
It's best to believe the worst. If you believe the worst, then the worst is half as bad as the best. And the best is no worse than expected. It's best to believe the worst.
You know, Jeff, that's just obscure enough to be profound. Now what does it mean?
It's simple. If a man says he's wise, you believe he's a fool. And if a man says he's a fool, you believe him.
Well, only a fool claims to be wise.
Exactly, which proves I'm right. Dr. Emmett's been promising to fix my face for 5 years now. Where's her miracle?
Some things take a long time to heal, Jeffrey.
I don't have much more time. I'm getting old. I'll be 26 soon.
Oh, and that's ancient. Why don't you forget your appearance in play anyhow? Don't condemn your audiences before you have the chance to be kind.
Look at me. What audience wouldn't shudder at the sight of my face? Do you see?
I see nothing to hide, Jeffrey.
Dr. Emmett told you what to say.
No, she didn't. I promise. But I would trust her if I were you. Give her a little more time.
Okay, I'll give her 5 more years.
Fair enough.
You know something?
Not at all. I'm awed only by the magnitude of what I don't know.
Well, I wouldn't tell this to anyone else. But Hannibal can't play the violin.
No.
Yes.
Well, of course I'm tone deaf.
I'll tell you something else. I sometimes wish I were.
Well, you're a sweet boy to pretend.
Hannibal can't play, and yet he does. I can, but I won't. Don't you think that's funny?
Not very.
Hurry, quick! There's a rat in the hall, right as big as a mouse! Climb up on a chair!
Fairy, what am I going to do with you?
You put me right off my coffee.
You know there's no rat in the hall.
But Mrs. Savage doesn't. She's bored here. And I intend to make life happy for her.
Well, you'll be happy to know that you just aged me 50 years. That'll put me well over the 100 mark.
Oh, a birthday! We'll have a party for you. I'll go make candles.
You'll sit down and drink your coffee.
Oh dear, I think I've eaten too much again.
Hannibal, you shouldn't exercise right after a meal.
I know, but if I wait, my conscience won't needle me.
Miss Willie, are you sure there have been no calls or messages for me today?
Positive.
Well, is there any way you could send to the village and get a newspaper?
Gladly. You'll serve the rest of the coffee. I'll ask Dr. Emmett.
No problem.
Here you are, Bingo.
Miss Willie Florence hasn't been served yet.
Oh, Jeff, don't stand on manners. Miss Willie knows exactly how you like your coffee. I can get my own.
Very well. Thank you.
You're annoyed.
Miss Willie, you single me out. It's not fair and it embarrasses me.
Jeff, I'm so tired tonight. I did not remember. Please forgive me.
It's all right. I forget sometimes, too.
Mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best dressed of them all? Fairy who?
Bringing your coffee, Fairy?
Please, do you think this dress does anything for me? I made it myself.
Oh, it's splendid. Sugar?
5. It's not quite finished, though. It's still put together with pins. Thank you.
Hannibal,
No, thank you.
would you like to know a trick that would make that exercise enjoyable?
An enjoyable way of losing weight has yet to be invented.
Well, I know of an improvement. All you need is a deck of cards.
Oh, cards? I went to a fortune teller once when I was 14, and everything he told me turned out wrong. I haven't believed anything since, and I don't like cards.
Toss them up in the air.
Why?
To lose weight. Now, all you have to do is pick them up, one by one.
Oh, I like that. It's tidy.
Thank you. It's a great improvement.
I learned it in a beauty course.
Wouldn't it be easier to pick them up sideways?
Much. Man was made all wrong. His stomach should be in the back. When he bends, it's in the way. And when he kneels, his legs buckle out in front of him instead of folding neatly behind him. And why should his nose be in the front? It only gets in the way when he kisses.
Oh, you're so right.
I guess God was in a hurry.
What are we doing now, Hannibal?
We're losing weight.
Well, would you please postpone it for a little while? If you all go upstairs for a few moments, I'd like to talk to Mrs. Savage. Florence, will you take the coffee with you?
Oh, all right. I do hate having coffee upstairs. It's so middle class. By the way, where's John Thomas?
I believe you left him on the phonograph.
Oh, yes. He adores the classics. Upstairs, downstairs, till I think I could scream. May I stay, Dr. Emmett? No, you may not.
Miss Willie tells me you seem anxious to see tonight's papers. Why?
Have it.
Here they are. Will undoubtedly please you to know that you've caused considerable trouble again.
Have I? Why, Claudia, on the front page. Senator trapped in President's greenhouse.
I've just been talking to her. She's exceedingly angry.
Imagine, pulling up all those petunias.
As a result of this, your position here has deteriorated considerably.
But my disposition has blossomed enormously. Anything about Samuel?
Oh, yes, the Boston Post.
Oh, poor Samuel. All those bricks falling on top of him. Chimney collapses on Boston Jurist. Well, for some people, it takes a ton of bricks, you know.
How could they possibly have believed you?
Now, they really should be committed, shouldn't they, Doctor? Nothing about Lily Bell?
Your batting average for mischief is 100%, Mrs. Savage.
Oh, what a horrible picture of Lily Bell. This would frighten even Fairy.
It says there that she resisted arrest.
So I see. Female vandal invades museum. Berserk heiress bites police. Now they really are fools, aren't they, Doctor?
What do you hope to gain by doing this, Mrs. Savage?
Better terms.
For your freedom?
For my memorial fund.
The children find this most unorthodox.
Well, that's absurd. There are plenty of charities for foolish people in desperate need, but there are none for people with a desperate need to be foolish.
What brings you to that conclusion?
My own life. No matter what we have, we never forget the foolish things we never got. If Hannibal had gotten his violin when he wanted one, he wouldn't need one now.
That's quite possible.
I want my husband to be remembered with warmth and gratitude for a few foolish dreams that came true. I will not give up my memorial to him.
Well, I would like to discuss this with you further, Mrs. Savage, but you have visitors waiting. Oh, Senator, you may come in now. I'll be just outside if you need me.
Well, my headache's gone. Ooh, how dare you make a fool out of me? How dare you?
You knew that chimney would fall on him, didn't you?
You tried to kill him. We're not a very bright family, are we?
Oh, you must be proud indeed to see the name of Savage held up to ridicule again.
Did you dig, Claudia?
8 FBI men jumped me, pushed my face in the dirt. They thought I was planting a bomb.
Well, at least you could have told them the truth, Claudia. Sleepwalking.
Really? You try to think of an excuse with 8 men on your chest.
She'd love the chance.
It was learned today that the senator's mother, Mrs. Ethel P. Savage, was recently committed for irresponsible actions. Democratic leaders were quick to point out that this might explain the strange behavior in Congress by the senator. Do you realize what this has done to me politically?
I believe it makes you a more canard. Dead duck. French. Remember?
I'll never survive it, never.
I was treated like a criminal. I was fingerprinted. Oh, I meant to ask you, Lilibel. Just what is it, a stuffed porpoise?
Do you know what the papers call us now?
The mad savages.
How do you like it? Where's my money? Where is your self-respect?
May I ask just what you intend to do now?
Are you prepared to listen to my terms? Or would you care to dig in Grant's tomb?
We are prepared to compromise.
If you mean you'll see things my way, then compromise is the right word.
I will consider effecting your release in the custody of someone for a period of time. It would look better for us.
I would consider giving her complete freedom if she'd give up this acting, lead a dignified life. Freedom, as Claudia can tell you, is the right to make the wrong choice.
What would we get?
That's what I like about you, Claudia. No nonsense. You'll each receive a considerable yearly allowance.
How reasonable.
I shall be generous, but the bulk of the estate must go to my fund. It's completely mad.
We might have the commitment revoked only to have you play another trick on us. Where would we be then?
Where are you now? Just get this over with, Claudia.
Very well.
I'm
Round
released.
retraction, Samuel.
I will keep my promise. But I warn you, don't have me followed.
I'm tired of having all my decisions reversed.
Samuel, wait a minute.
What is it?
I found a way out and will compromise. But I have to talk to Dr. Emmett first. Lilibel, are you going to sign that petition? Claudia, don't you sign anything until I have returned. Lilibel!
Now, what could she have read?
God knows.
Probably something to trick you. If you listen to her again, you'll end up without a cent.
How many T's in commitment?
3.
2.
It doesn't look right.
Here, I'll write it. Give me your pen.
Give it back.
All it needs to say is that the commitment was ill-advised and request release. Will that satisfy you?
It will when you sign it.
Sign it, Samuel.
What are you doing?
We're signing the letter. Sign it, Lilibel.
It isn't necessary. You'll regret this, Lilibel.
Lilibel, you've no right to act without consulting us.
Oh, do be quiet. Here, read this.
Read what?
The article on sodium pentothal. It's... Well, perhaps I'd better let Dr. Emmett explain. Dr. Emmett, will you please tell them what sodium pentothal does?
tension, removes inhibitions, and makes the patient more receptive to suggestion.
It's called the truth drug.
That's not quite accurate, however.
But under its influence, the patient does respond truthfully when questioned. Isn't that so?
If they answer at all.
Now, do you see?
Did you want me, Doctor?
Yes, just a moment.
Dr. Emmett, I order you to give some of this truth drug to my mother at once.
Doctor, haven't I got any rights at all?
Excuse me, Doctor. You're not going to listen to these people, are you? The flagrant misuse of science.
Doctor, I order you.
Mrs. Savage, if I refuse, your guardians are well within their legal right to remove you from my authority. I am confident that they will find the means of subjecting you to sodium pentothal elsewhere.
Then let someone else be responsible, Doctor.
$10 million hidden from you does no one any good, least of all you. It remains an ever-present symptom of psychotic thinking. This is your final chance to prove that you're capable of making a responsible decision. An intelligent mind recognizes defeat.
Let it be known that I was not forced to my knees by science. I will tell you where the bonds are.
Wait! We've come to the rescue. We're not too late.
We'll stand by you, Mrs. Savage.
We just happen to be listening. Shame on you, and you.
Dr. Emmett, who are these people?
These are my friends.
Cannibal Wharton, who asked to stay upstairs.
Dr. Emmett, I want to protest.
Who gives you the right to protest, sir? This doesn't concern you.
You're very kind, but I'm afraid I haven't much choice, as you must have heard.
And what will you do, Mrs. Savage?
Give them the bonds.
I believe you've made the right decision, Mrs. Savage.
Are you going to tell us or not?
I'm going to show you. We are going to show you.
Oh, you'll hurt it.
Here's your treasure.
My God! She had them with her the entire time!
Turn those lights on. Somebody turn those lights on!
Just a moment, I'll turn them
Who
back
is
on.
this?
It's me! Ow! Let go of me!
Do you hear me? Turn those lights on!
Just a moment.
I said turn those lights on! You hear me? Oh, turn those lights off!
One of our patients.
Where's Lilybell?
Oh, Mrs. Patty!
She's disappeared!
Well, my gracious, what are you doing behind the sofa?
Somebody pushed me.
It wasn't me. I wasn't near enough.
They're gone! The bonds are gone! What did you do with them?
I put them on the table. You saw me do it yourself.
Then where are they?
Excuse me, Senator. I'd say that Mrs. Patty has them. It seems obvious to me. She came in, turned the lights out, took the bonds, and ran.
Miss Willie, get Mrs. Patty. Make sure she doesn't destroy those bonds.
I can't bear this. I simply can't bear this. I'm going to pieces.
Here, this will calm you. Would you like to try it?
Oh, dear Mrs. Patty. Come along, girls. Let's go for a walk.
Why, this is simply a madhouse.
Yes, Miss Philomena? Good. Good. Good.
Well,
The wards have been locked off, the staff is alerted, and Miss Willie is searching the basement now.
but did she find that woman?
Not yet.
Then what in heaven's name was the good about?
We are taking every possible precaution, Senator.
That maniac has $10 million worth of negotiable bonds. If they're not found, they cannot be replaced.
What will she do with them, Doctor?
Oh, she'll probably eat them.
I don't know, but they're sure to be found. It might take a little time.
Years, probably.
They were right in front of us. Within our grasp. Why didn't you stop her, Claudia?
Oh, like I was supposed to know the lights were going out?
People, it's quite possible that Mrs. Patty didn't steal them at all.
Of course she did. Who else could have?
You could have, Lilybell.
Oh, that's ridiculous. Lilybell was 10 feet away from the table.
Maybe so. But she's mighty quick when it comes to money. Personally, I think she took them and stuck them down her front. Heaven knows there's room.
You didn't take them, did you, Lilybell?
Of course not, Samuel. She's trying to make us suspect one another.
Well, someone else could have taken them. He was the nearest to the table when the lights went out.
He was right beside it.
Well, what have you got to say?
I didn't take them. I don't like bonds.
The Queen of Spades! Someone is going to die.
Dr. Emmett, must we have these people here?
Get them out of here. No. No, wait a minute. Don't let anyone out of our sight until he's searched.
Everyone off with his clothes!
My glasses, too?
Just a moment, Fairy. Please, Mrs. Savage, don't make this any more difficult than you already have.
And do something about this man's throwing cards around. My nerves are on edge.
Hannibal, don't.
Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't. I understand you have a very lovely tiara. Do you sleep in it?
Sit down, you unattractive creature. I've had quite enough.
I don't like you.
Fairy, please sit down and be quiet while we wait.
Very well. Oh, Barry. Excuse me, I'm upset.
Mrs. Patty, you have the entire staff searching for you.
Stop her! Don't let her get away!
Please join us, Mrs. Patty. We'd like to talk to you.
Now we'll find out where those bonds are hidden. Madam, hand over those bonds!
You better let me question her, Senator. She's not going to talk to you.
Oh, yes, she will.
No, she won't.
Well, madam, what have you to say for yourself?
I hate everything in the world, but most of all, I hate revolving doors, cuspidors, spikes, buzz, fleas, bumblebees, prickly heats, bats, gnats, pills, pots, pans, butts, bladders, worms, germs, pachyderms, and politicians.
What does she mean?
Weren't you listening?
Madam, did you hear what I asked you?
There's no use in yelling at her, Senator. She hears you well enough. But she's not going to answer you. She hasn't answered a question in 20 years. Mrs. Patty, this is very important. I want you to nod yes or no to the questions I ask you. Did you take some bonds from the table a few moments ago?
She did and she didn't.
Oh, this is so exciting. I wish we could open up the closet and have a body fall out.
Mrs. Patty, look at me. Now try to remember. Did you turn the electricity off? Yes, you did. Did you see some little bundles on the table table a minute ago? Try to remember. Think.
Dr. Emmett, I found them.
No, you don't. Hand them over to me.
Senator! Radio tubes!
You said you found the bonds.
I said nothing of the sort.
Well, this restores my faith in witchcraft.
Miss Willie, where did you find them?
In the hot air duct, leading to Fairy's room.
I told you I was cold all winter, but you wouldn't believe me.
I hold you completely responsible for this fiasco, Doctor.
And what would you suggest that I do, Senator?
Search that woman. She may have them hidden on her person.
I'm afraid that's going to present quite a problem.
Well, then search everyone else while we concentrate on making her talk.
Very well. Miss Willow, will you please take Mrs. Savage to her room and search her carefully?
No, take me. I'm the youngest and I am dressed the quickest. Or would you like to draw straws?
No, you first, Fairy. I don't want to miss anything.
Oh, thank you.
Would you like to come with me, Fairy?
Oh, yes. Do you know I was once asked to play Lady Godiva in the Elks pageant? But my mother wouldn't let me. She was afraid of so many elks.
Mrs. Patty, wouldn't you like to make this so much easier on all the rest of us?
Excuse me, Doctor, but don't you have some sort of threat you can resort to here?
I don't threaten my patients. Mrs. Patty, look at me.
The truth drug!
Of course! Use the true drug on her. Then we can make her talk.
That's out of the question. I must have her guardian's consent.
Very well. Who's her guardian?
Her husband.
We'll get him on the phone. Where is he?
Japan.
Well, in his absence, haven't you the authority to act?
We've no proof that she took them yet.
I still think Lilybell's your girl.
Will you stop saying that?
Dr. Emmett,
Yes, Jeff?
since Mrs. Savage can't have her bonds anyway, I think I can help you.
Yes.
Mrs. Patty didn't take them,
How do you know?
because I took them.
He's the thief. I knew we were being tricked. Hand them over, young man.
I can't.
Did you take them, Jeff?
Yes, ma'am.
Then where are they?
I threw them out the window.
Run outside quickly, Claudia. Samuel and I will watch from the window.
Stop! Harcheesi, the Royal Game of India.
Jeffrey, you couldn't have thrown them out the window. The window is closed.
Oh.
Speak up! Speak up!
I searched the Fairy, Doctor. She doesn't have them.
If you took the bonds, Jeff, please tell us where they are.
What do you mean by misleading us?
Get him, you stupid ox!
He said he took the bonds.
Well, he didn't. And I happen to know he didn't.
And just how do you happen to know that?
That's none of your business.
How do you know, Miss Willie?
Because I had my arms around Jeff when the lights went out, to protect him from being hurt due to confusion.
Thank you, Miss Willie.
But that's not true. I took them. No one else.
Dr. Emmett, Miss Willie, there's a fire upstairs with flames this high.
Fairy, you mustn't! We've company!
Well, they were this high at least.
Where?
In the bathtub.
Sit down, Fairy.
I can't. I'm all full of pins.
Jeffrey, if you did take the bonds, please tell us where they are.
I told you he couldn't have taken them.
Of course he couldn't. And if anyone should know that, I should.
Now I suppose you took them.
I confess everything. There's a fire upstairs.
There's a conspiracy down here.
Florence, where are they?
I won't tell you.
Can't you see these people are trying to deceive us?
I have committed this theft with full knowledge of the stigma involved. Something's burning upstairs.
Better search her.
Greedy little man!
Miss Willie, please take Florence to her room and search her.
Come along, Florence.
Don't worry, Mrs. Savage. I won't tell, even if they put me in solitary confinement and cut off all my hair.
You're wasting your time searching dear Florence,
Why do you say that, Hannibal?
because she didn't take the bonds.
Then who did?
I don't know, but I know it was a woman, and it wasn't Mrs. Patty.
Who was it?
It wasn't Florence either.
I don't want to know who it was, and I want to know who was it.
Is that good grammar?
If you ask a Mohammedan what God is, he'll name all the things he isn't. It's easier than saying what he is.
And one of the things he isn't on your side.
Hannibal, if you know who took the bonds, please tell us.
It was a woman, and it wasn't Mrs. Patty.
Oh, fiddle, let the house burn.
How do you know?
A woman pushed me out of the way.
How do you know it was a woman?
Really, Claudia?
How do you know it was not Mrs. Patty?
She doesn't use perfume.
Lilybell bathes in it.
I was nowhere near the table.
Could you identify the scent?
I think so.
Well, I use gardenia. What do you use, Fairy?
Oh, no name. I make my own.
Hannibal, smell Lilybell.
Claudia! I won't tolerate this. They're making fools of us for their own amusement.
Smell anything, Hannibal?
Yes.
What?
Smoke.
High time.
I must be losing my mind. I smell smoke too.
Dr. Emmett, I found a fire in Miss Patty's bathtub.
I don't think I'll speak to anyone again.
In the bathtub?
I'm afraid it's the bonds. Or what's left of them.
Oh, no. No. Why, there's no way of telling what these are.
Here's a corner of something that didn't burn. Can you tell what it is?
It's the burnt end of a $500,000 bond.
Are you sure?
Positive.
Mrs. Savage, can you identify this?
Well, your treasure hunt is over. It's all that's left of $10 million.
I should have told a lie. Then someone would have believed me.
I'm sorry, Fairy. We should have believed you anyway. There must be some way of having it replaced, Senator.
Well, there isn't.
It can't be gone. They just can't. You miserable, useless creature! Have you idea what you've cost us?
Oh, let her alone. Never mind, Mrs. Patty.
I won't have any more bullying of my patients. And would all three of you please be so kind as to leave now?
What about the burnt piece? Isn't it worth anything?
Nothing. I hold you personally responsible, Doctor.
I can't be poor. I don't know how.
It's all right, Lilybell. We'll survive. We always have. I am still Senator.
Lilybell, you have to believe that I never intended it to end this way.
Let's leave, Claudia.
Claudia,
Yes,
what happens to me?
you have nothing to worry about. We wouldn't dream of sending you to a public institution, Mother.
After all, we are savages.
Goodbye. We say goodbye to people we don't want to see again.
Oh, don't cry, Mrs. Patty. I'm sure you hate tears, too.
Maybe she thinks her tub is cracked.
Did you think you could change them, Mrs. Savage?
Oh, no one changes people. One makes changes people learn to accept. I'd hoped to make them look like fools, so that they might look with understanding on the fools of good heart.
Who are the fools of good heart?
Oh, I'd say those who gamble on people and invest in kindness. Those who doubt that position means privilege or that manners mean morals. And of course, the rebels with no fear of failure.
That makes very good sense.
And justifies my being here,
Would you like to leave?
they would never let me go.
They have no say about it. No patient's commitment is final until I've made my decision, and I find no valid reason for your remaining.
Does that mean I'm free?
I could let you go on my own authority at once, but I'll have a talk with the state medical examiner. Then I'll let you know definitely.
think I'll pack your things, just in case. We can always unpack again later.
You hate us.
What makes you think that, Fairy?
Because you want to leave us?
But I must.
Was someone waiting for you?
No,
Does someone need you?
no.
But I haven't had time to get you a going away present. Of course, I could go look upstairs if you won't be fussy. I would like to try to find something too, if you'll wait. Oh, fun! Come on, everybody. Let's go see what we can find.
Yes, I think I remembered something too.
Now, don't leave yet, or else you won't get anything. I'll try to find something useless. I do abhor practical gifts.
There's nothing in my room you'd want, Mrs. Savage. But I do have something on me that I prize. My class ring. Inside it says, "Let there be light." Something Mrs. Patty would hate.
Oh, Hannibal, I couldn't take the ring off your finger.
No, I insist. It has no value as gold goes, but as blood goes, it's a statistical treasure. My heart has pumped blood through this ring every 4 minutes for 10 years. That adds up to roughly, 100,000 gallons of blood.
Hannibal, keep it. I deeply appreciate the offer, the sentiment, and the statistics.
My fingers gotten too fat on each side of the ring.
Oh, keep it, Hannibal. You've had it for so long, it's become a part of you.
Can't get it off.
Never mind. You've given me a gift no one could compare to it.
Oh, I'm all out of breath. So my pulse.
Why, Fairy dear!
But I found something, if you won't be fussy. I hope you weren't expecting much, because then you won't be disappointed.
Oh, I won't be disappointed.
You can feel my pulse too, Hannibal.
Thank you.
I couldn't find anything else to wrap in it except for paper towels.
About 104 beats a minute, I'd say.
Oh, how very nice.
What is it?
A handkerchief.
Oh no, it's a napkin. So many places serve paper napkins, but they blot or smear.
Oh, I bless your heart. I'll take it with me whenever I'm invited out.
And it says the Cloisters on it. Wasn't that lucky? Oh, Fairy found something first. What did she get you?
A hand-picked napkin.
Oh, good. Then it'll go perfect with my gift for you. It's practical. I hope you don't mind.
Oh, Florence, you shouldn't have.
What is it?
A salt shaker.
And full of salt, too.
It's engraved. It says the Cloisters. Is it sterling? Of course. I wouldn't dream of giving Mrs. Savage anything that wasn't sterling. Oh, it has lots of little dents all over it. Oh, really? Dents give it an antique character.
Indeed they do.
What did you bring, Jeff?
Just a book. But I hope you enjoy it.
Well, I'm not going to say goodbye. I hate goodbyes. I don't recognize them. Oh, you didn't expect us to say goodbye, did you?
I didn't even expect the salt shaker.
Well, how do you do, Mrs. Savage? We're so glad to have you with us. We're very glad you could come. Make yourself at home. Oh, I almost forgot. John Thomas asked me to give this to you from him. He was afraid you'd catch his measles if he delivered it himself. Come, Fairy. Let's pretend it's garden hour. Excuse us, please. We have to go plant weeds. Take an umbrella. It's raining out.
What is it?
The Lifespan of the Ape. Do you know I've never read it?
I was lucky, wasn't I?
I'm going to read it tonight.
What did you bring, Mrs. Patty?
Oh, Mrs. Patty, bless your heart.
May I see it?
A genuine mother of pearl button. Oh, I'm going to sew it on at once.
I believe it's intended to make an eye for the bear.
Why, bless your angry heart. Oh, we both thank you. He's hated only having one eye.
I hate everything in the world but you. And I love you, and I wish you wouldn't leave us.
Why? She said she loved me.
Well,
Aren't you amazed?
Why? We knew it all along.
Yes, but she spoke.
Well, she had to say it.
well, Jeff, let's see what the girls are up to. It's a lovely night, and everyone's polite. Oh, and be careful. Don't break your neck.
You do have a good seat.
Well, I think I have everything. Here's your $85 hat. I told you you'd want it again.
Oh, my beautiful and foolish hat.
You know, I think you've been wearing it backwards.
You think so? I think you're right. It's good to be straightened out after a while.
Where did everybody go?
They gave me going-away presents and then refused to say goodbye.
I bet I can guess what they gave you.
I bet you can. Mrs. Patty gave me an eye with which to see myself. Florence, a grain of salt to take with what I see.
That's good. And Fairy?
A memory of loveliness.
I'm afraid to most people, Fairy wouldn't seem a lovely girl.
She wears her plainness with great beauty.
And Jeff?
The Book of Job.
Nothing from Hannibal?
I'd say he gave me an appreciation of music I never had before.
Well, I have something for you too.
You behave yourself.
It isn't much.
My bonds. Where did you find them?
I didn't find them. I took them when the lights went out.
Why?
I don't know.
Don't tell me you're a kleptomaniac.
It was too quick to think. You know what bothered me the most is that after I took them, I toyed with the thought of keeping them.
Well, that's a normal impulse. What stopped you?
What Jeff might think?
You need to get away from here, dear. That kind of thinking isn't too good for you.
You did know Jeff was my husband, didn't you?
I certainly did not.
Well, he is. I wanted to be here when he recovered. And you want to know why I wouldn't take the money? Pure selfishness. I wanted to do everything for him myself. Surely you understand that.
The only thing I don't understand is how I could have ever felt so sorry for myself. Isn't there something about no fool like you know what?
Something. But I don't think that applies to you.
Does anyone else know about these?
I told Dr. Emmett.
Well, whether you like it or not, you're both going to be hearing from my fund.
I talked to the state medical examiner.
Yes?
The station wagon is outside, ready to take you whenever you want to go. Miss Willie, will you please take Mrs. Savage's bag out to the car?
Yes, Doctor.
I have a few papers for you to sign, and then you're free to go.
You know, I must really be out of my mind. I don't want to go.
You mean you'd rather leave tomorrow?
I don't think I ever want to leave.
Why would you want to stay?
Suddenly, I'm weary. I would like to rest. I would like to be protected against uncertainty and accident. I would like to be relieved of decision. I would like to go to sleep at night and know there are walls to guard my sleep.
But the peace you find here is the moon reflected on a dark lake. Strike the surface and you destroy it. Is that the kind of peace you want?
I want what everyone wants, to want nothing. These people have found contentment.
How do you know?
I have eyes to see.
So does Jeffrey, but he sees only what he wants to see. An excuse for not facing the future. Does Florence see that her child was taken from her? Does Fairy see what the mirror should show her? No. They found refuge in an eggshell world where you don't belong. For you see yourself clearly, I'm sure.
Then where do I belong?
In the world you can best serve. Your impulse to live life with courage was right. Go ahead with your Aurora. Don't be betrayed by illusions of contentment. The door is open to you. Make your peace with loneliness.
Oh, I'm glad you're still here. I just thought of what I can give you.
Hannibal, not your violin.
Oh no, you couldn't play it, but I can give you a song you could take anywhere. Here is your song.
To our efficient backstage crew.